Well, hello there. We are the Pitney Shackleford Family Adventures YouTube channel. And in the last video, I did tell you I was going to tell a story, our family story, from the last many years, um, starting with where I came into this. I tried to do a video here just 10 minutes, an hour ago, hour and a half ago. I had it all done. It would not load from my phone. So bear with me. I'm going to try and go back through this a second time, which, so about two father ended up um, being diagnosed with terminal cancer. And that's pretty much when everything really went downhill for me, myself. Um, I got involved in pills and got addicted to pills. Um, Ended up losing my job. The ex left me, that kind of deal. Went through about a year of him fighting, and in July of 2007, uh, my father, a three-term Vietnam vet, lost his battle. So anyway, soon after that, there was a fight with the family, and I ended up out on the street. So after a while, I was in my truck for a little bit there, and then I lost my license because I got a traffic ticket and I didn't have a job and was on drugs and couldn't pay it. So I ended up on the street. I spent a total of 7 years on the street, between Tacoma, Seattle, the woods, the mountains, you pretty much name it. And about 5 years into it, I ended up on methamphetamines. And methamphetamines took a hold of me for another 3 years. Heavy use. Um, Thankfully, after about 3 years, I was already getting tired of everything that was going on. I knew I was messed up. Um, and I was pretty much at my wits' end. I was one of those guys that the police would run all the time because I was sleeping underneath an overhang where somebody was closed, or Walmart. Sorry for the plug, guys, but a lot of you guys were really cool to me. I appreciate that. Um, and I've walked miles and miles and miles and miles. So I spent about 3 years messed up on methamphetamines, and called a friend of mine in Tacoma. Was at the bottom of my rope and decided that um, I needed to like really reach out because things were getting a little scary for me. I'm a manic bipolar depressive. Um, I also have PTSD, um, and I'm ADHD and was diagnosed when I was young. I had learning disabilities problems in school the whole nine. So I went to go stay with a friend in Tacoma. She told me how to get to her place, and I slept on her floor for like a week or two. And then she introduced me to her sister. Well, her sister happens to be my wife now. So I ended up I quit meth and got sober. At that point, we discovered that I'd hurt myself pretty bad from being on the drugs and all that, and ended up, long story short, on that note, with my health, I ended up with two pinched nerves in my hip. Um, I have neuropathy in both feet, pre-diabetic. Um, I have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, mainly because of the way I was eating. So we get together, and everything's going good. I'm on medication. I have heart disease too, so really high blood pressure. So we got everything under control, and a while after that, we moved from her place into another friend that needed our help, and we stayed with her for a while. And she ended up, there was something going on with her family, and they were frustrated over money because we were always hurt for money. Like I said, I was still recovering. I wasn't really, wasn't quite there yet. And I was sober, but for the most part, she ended up moving somebody in, two teenagers, and they ended up trying to sell drugs out of the house. They ended up doing it. So at one point, it was getting dangerous for my family, and I finally got up the nerve to say something. And when I did, everything went crazy. They, they were always like agitated at me and all that. I ended up taking this young man's uh, sister's car to go run to a place in on the other side of Tacoma and had to take the highway. I ended up passing a vehicle at like 75. I passed him because he was blocking the lane I needed into, and I needed to get around him, and there was no way to get where I needed to be unless I went around him first. So I went around him, and I come to find out he found out about it that I was doing 75 miles an hour in the car and freaked out on me. Like, met me at the front door with a shotgun in my face. Now, I never thought. I mean, I come from an army family. I come from being around guns and stuff, but I was taught that you don't just don't do things like that. So, and this is not a political video whatsoever. Please don't be trying to use my video for that. That's not the point here. The point is we want to be able to tell our story and have everybody understand what it was like. We don't want anybody to feel sorry for us. It's something that happened, and we live with it every day, and we will one day completely move past it. So anyway, this kid, he pulls a shotgun in my face, and I see this look in his eye, and I know the look. He wants to kill me with his shotgun. My 14-year-old Marie is standing about 30 feet away from me, and she's actually goes by @SorrowLullaby on Twitter, and you can talk to her if you like. She knows that people will probably want to talk to her. She's a little on the shy side though, so be aware. She also has PTSD because of it. It put her into shock. She ended up not coming out of her room. She wouldn't come out. She was scared to be in the house. 2 days go by, and I'm trying to talk to her. We're trying to figure out what the hell we're going to do because this is crazy. This is getting crazy. I mean, so I go out in the living room to do something, to grab something, and he starts screaming at me over the whole, like, I'm ruining his business, because at this point I'm telling people as they come to my house, you need to go away. I don't want you here. And this is my house too. I have that right. I'm a grown adult, and I don't want this here. I don't want it here. It's debatable if I shouldn't have said nothing at all, honestly, but I shouldn't feel guilty for that because I was trying to protect my family at the same time. So he ends up pulling a brand new pistol he bought. He just got his gun permit and pulls it on me. Well, I go taking off to the back bedroom. His brother tackles him in the living room, and he's threatening to come down the hall. So by then, Marie's in her room. She is hysterical and freaking out. I go down the hall and I tell my wife, we got to, what do we do? I was ready to get the kids. I was going to go grab Marie and just risk it and go grab Marie, and we're going to go out the window then. It ended up calming down for a minute because his brother got him under control. But the problem with it is the comments didn't stop. They were yelled across the house to make sure that my daughter and myself heard it. And yes, I should have called the police department, honestly. And I'm not, still to this day. I mean, I was scared. I really, honestly, never thought I'd be that scared in my life, and I was not okay about it at all. And I'm still not. So 2 days go by, and we wait until 6 o'clock in the morning, and I finally get Marie in the bedroom with us. We grab all the stuff we can, and I put my kids out my bedroom window in the master bedroom, and we leave. We'd leave our dog behind because we couldn't feed her. I couldn't haul the dog food, so I'd leave my baby girl behind. And I still feel like a complete horrible person because I had to make that decision. So we go to one of the local stores. And like I said, I'd been homeless for a long time. So I was used to people pushing people away that were homeless. And this is where things start to get a little positive. Because at this point, we're away from the situation. We have freed ourselves from the situation, but now we're in a different situation, a scarier one. Because at this point, my wife is pregnant. So we go to a local store. I can't say which chain. It's a Western Washington chain. That's all I'm going to say. And we're sitting out front. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. And this guy walks up to me and hands me like $60. He said, "It does not look like you guys are enjoying yourself right now. And I think you need to have some breakfast and take inventory of what's going on." And he asked me how long we've been this way. And I said, 45 minutes. The look in his face, he cared. And it meant something. I went and got us all breakfast. A friend of ours picked us up. They didn't have room in their place for all of us. And they were in one of those places where you couldn't have company. So we go to their house and we're hanging out for a minute trying to find somewhere to go because we're not really, unless you were homeless, there was nowhere for you to like go to because we'd already done some research on trying to find somewhere to go. We tried friends, nobody had room. Nobody could help at that point. So we end up at their house and the wife starts feeling like really ill. She's not feeling well at all. She's starting to look white, like something's going on. So we take her to the hospital. This is the same day, the same morning. It's like 10 o'clock. We go to the hospital and we find out that, mind you, please be aware that this might bother some people, okay? But it happens, and I leave it in the man above, whoever your higher power is. I left it with my higher power, or I try to. But we found out the baby was no longer here. She was 19 weeks. We found out the baby's been gone since 15 weeks. So during all this, it had already happened. So they do a whole bunch of tests. They find out that she's got a really super bad infection, and they find out our situation and exactly what happened. And I don't want to say the name of the hospital because I'm not sure on the rules when it comes to saying things over YouTube. I'm still learning the basics, so I just don't want to overstep that. But they put her in the hospital. They hid us in the hospital. They brought us upstairs, set us up with beds in her room, and then we went and then fed us, made sure we're nice and full. I had coffee that I could access all night because by the time they got to see her, it was 10 o'clock at night. So they took us to a waiting room, and 3 a.m. she finally comes out of it, and the doctor comes down and tells me, well, it's not good, but we're pretty sure that she's gonna be all right, but it's gonna take a minute. So we were there for 4 days while they put antibiotics into her. Not just like an overnight thing, not 2 days, not 3 days, 4 days. So now, mind you, this whole time, we're still wondering what we're going to do. So a friend of ours, Barbara, and I'm going to say her name because this family deserves love from every person in the world. They're a Christian family, and Barbara Dutt stuck her neck out, came and got us with all of our stuff that we had, put my daughter in her house. She only had a little bit of room. She wasn't set up for a baby or anything. I mean, she kind of collects stuff. So I'm going to say, Barbara, you collect stuff. You like stuff. Okay. And her daughter happened to be Marie's best friend. So We stay there. We're in a there. It's me, Logan, and Mom in the tent in the backyard. Well, this is November of not last year, but the year before. So 2016, November 2016. It's like November 1st. We started staying in the tent, and of course it was pouring down rain. Of course it's going to rain on me the whole time we're in the tent. So everything got wet. We got wet. We kept Logan dry because we put him in the middle, and he was on the higher spot of the lawn. But the tent that we got from somebody wasn't sealed right, and it didn't stop raining long enough for me to get it dry to spray it, and there was nowhere to spray it to stay dry. So anyway, long story short on that, about 7 days into it, we'd already been making phone calls to the local shelters and stuff like that, and I got set up with the Tacoma Rescue Mission. Now they have a family center, and I'm not going to say where it's at because they take care of abused women and children and stuff like that. They do a lot of good. We were able to pass the background checks, and they brought us in. They helped us wash all of our clothes. They made sure we got showers and got all nice warm blankets and extra pillows, and we had our own room. And we started a program to rebuild our lives, like collecting our documents and stuff that we needed to move forward in life because we didn't have hardly anything. We were broken, like extremely broken, but we were trying. So, and we believed in each other. We stuck by each other. That was one thing that we stuck by each other. So we stayed there for 8 months. Now, during 8 months, we all got checked out counseling wise. Marie had some serious issues. She was super depressed, suicidal. She was diagnosed PTSD. I was actually diagnosed PTSD also at that point. After explaining everything and how my feelings were on all of it, and I still have nightmares to this day. I mean, I just had one just last night about the whole thing. So I'm trying to stay on track because if I don't, this video is going to be really long and I will lose track of what I'm talking about. And I really don't, it's hard enough to repeat once, but I'm on my second round. So my apologies that the video is long. We ended up almost at the end of our stay, and we got with a program in Tacoma, and they helped us fly to, I know I probably shouldn't say where I'm at because we're going to be a YouTube channel, but we're in Higginsville, Missouri. This is where Charity, my wife, which is Mama Dragon 10 on YouTube, I mean on Twitter, her family all lives here. So one of them had set up for us a house to stay in. The day before we leave, we find out somebody on drugs had went in the house and stripped all the copper out. But we flew here anyway. And because of Barbara Dutt and her husband, David Dutt, we were able to stay in a hotel, in the motel here in town for a month and a half, and they helped feed us. They helped with every single thing. I owe them so much. I'll tell you, they're beautiful people. So we get with a man from the local area after I had gotten a job at McDonald's here in town. Yes, I just gave McDonald's a plug because they gave the new guy in town a job and didn't ask any questions. I got in contact because of a manager got me in contact with a local man, and he had apartments coming available at a place where he had taken over at. The crazy part is after talking to him, he was willing to work with me and get us in the next following month. I mean, we only had a little while left in the hotel, so everything's going good, right? I'm working, everything's going great. The daughter is on Social Security at this point. So we're able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment, which is awesome because I haven't had a home in it'd been 9 years altogether of our own. You know what I'm saying? So, and then when they come over to the hotel, the motel to sign the papers, and one of our references was the same person that picked us up from Kansas City, which is Charity's uncle. And I don't know if I have his permission to put his name on the internet. So he's kind of, we'll just leave it at that. So anyway, we find out that this man's wife is related to Charity, like direct family relation. So we moved right in pretty much. I mean, everything went good. We had a little bit of help, getting started and all that from the family. I mean, went a month without any like extra money for food and stuff. So, but the rest of the family helped in that department. So in all of this, I want everybody to know that we are working with the positive sides of all of this, or at least attempting to. My wife is manic bipolar with split personality and social anxiety, and she's PTSD. So, and she's on no medications right now. None of us are, because we had to switch over medical from Washington to here. So, well, we are now. We just yesterday, yay for Missouri for getting on top of that. Found out that the paperwork hadn't been done and got it rocking for us. So at least we have the basic coverages and stuff like that that you get, and I appreciate that. I really do. So long story short, we went through what we classified as our own personal nightmare, and I was introduced. Now, mind you, I forgot to even mention that Logan was born in the middle of all that. Logan's 3, and he's actually right there sleeping, and she is. This happens a lot. This happens a lot. They fall asleep in the bed next to me. But so we're at 22 minutes. I'll be talking to Marie. I don't know if she wants to tell her side of the story or not. This is not something for. We started this YouTube channel so it will get us out of the house and do more. So we have a reason to. And I'm going to give a shout out to a couple gentlemen and a couple ladies that their personal YouTube channels made a huge difference in Marie's life, Charity's life, and my life. And a shout out to YouTube Kids, because Logan kills my phone, kills my data watching your stuff. But anyway, Omar Gosh TV, look him up. The man is incredible. And his wife, Melissa. They definitely need a shout out because they've been a huge player in giving us positive influence when we needed it the most. Okay? There's James the Fam. You got to meet this guy. James the Fam is one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. Now, I don't know how much they even know of us personally, because we didn't really start talking until recently. But I'm going to tell you right now, them, let's see who's there. There's Mo Sargi. I almost forgot about Mo Sargi. There's a couple other ones, and I'll let the wife finish the shout outs because I'm at 23 minutes and I want to end this video. But subscribe, smash the like button for us. Let us know if you think what you think about all this in the comments. You can join us on Twitter at PitneyShacklefo. They didn't let me finish my name on Twitter. That is our main page. It is the Pitney Shackleford Family Adventures Twitter page. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful evening. I want to show you some love and have a wonderful night as I try to disconnect.